Welcome back, folks, to today's podcast. I'm John Hart, the Heart of Appalachia, and today the podcast is titled The Quilt That Stopped a War. You know, up in the mountains, folks will tell you a quilt ain't nothing, just a blanket. It ain't just a blanket. It's a story, a memory. It's a way of keeping the people you love close, even after they're gone. And once, in a little holler, tucked between two ridges, a quilt did something nobody expected. It stopped a war. Now, before you think I'm exaggerating, let me tell you about the Hensleys and the Caldwells. These two families had been feuding so long, nobody could remember how it started. Some said it was a landline disagreement on a boundary. Some said it was a hog that wandered where it shouldn't. Some whispered about a shooting behind the old feed store, a story that changed depending on who was telling it. The one thing was certain. If you were a Hensley, you didn't cross Caldwell land. And if you were a Caldwell, you didn't set foot near the Hensley place. Not unless you wanted trouble. In the middle of all that bitterness lived a lady named Martha Hensley. In the middle of all that bitterness lived a lady named Martha Hensley. A quiet widow with hands that could turn scraps of cloth into something holy. Her quilts weren't just warm, they were beautiful. County fair winners, family heirlooms, the kind of quilts folks fought over when a relative passed. But Martha didn't make quilts for ribbons. She made them because sewing was the only thing that kept her heart from breaking clean in two. You see, Martha had lost her son, Daniel, in the feud. Both families blamed the other. Both families carried guilt, and Martha carried all of it. One cold January morning, Martha lit her wood stove, sat down at her sewing table, and opened a box of old fabric scraps. But instead of choosing the usual pieces, her husband's shirts, her son's baby clothes, she reached for something different. A Caldwell work shirt, a Hensley baby dress, a torn piece of a wedding tablecloth, a sleeve from the coat Daniel wore the night he died. Every square she cut had a story. Every stitch she made was a prayer. And she sewed in silence, day after day, week after week. The neighbors noticed a lamp burning late in her window, but nobody asked questions, not yet. By early spring, the quilt was finished. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't perfect, but it was honest. It was a patchwork of two families who had spent decades pretending they had nothing in common. Martha folded it once, twice, then carried it out to her front porch. She draped it over the railing, right where the road curved, right where both families could see it, and then she went back inside. Didn't explain a thing, didn't defend herself, didn't hide. She just waited. The first person to stop was Elias Caldwell, the oldest living Caldwell, a man who hadn't spoken to a Hensley in nearly 40 years. He climbed Martha's steps slow, like he was approaching a grave. He reached out and touched the quilt, ran his fingers over the stitches, over the scraps he recognized, his brother's shirt, his mother's apron, the tablecloth from his own wedding. And then he saw it, a square made from Daniel's coat. Elias swallowed hard. His voice cracked when he finally spoke. This here's the truth of it, ain't it? We're all stitched together, whether we like it or not. Martha didn't say a word. She didn't have to, because in that moment, on that porch, the feud broke. Not all at once, not magically, but enough for the healing to begin. Later that summer, Martha told the truth. She hadn't made the quilt to shame anybody. She hadn't made it to take sides. She hadn't made it to end a feud. She had made it for Daniel because she couldn't carry the weight anymore. Because she wanted peace for her boy, even if the families couldn't find it in themselves. The quilt was a symbol. It was a confession and a prayer and a bridge. Some folks say the quilt still hangs in the church on the ridge. Others say it is passed down through the families, each generation adding a square of their own. But everybody agrees on one thing. It didn't stop a war because it was beautiful. It stopped a war because it told the truth. And sometimes that's all a quilt or a person needs to do. I appreciate you stopping in. This is John Hart, the Heart of Appalachian. If you've enjoyed the podcast, then please like, share, and follow. Until the next time, God bless you, and I'll see you on down the road.